Hello assembler class. This is another useful video for doing your Lines Lab or in general for doing anything remotely on our Linux servers. The question you're going to have is, once you have your assembler lab files there and you can log in, how can you edit your files? So I'm going to show you a couple of options here. And I know a lot of you are going to like a GUI editor, but we'll also show you some terminal editors. So you'll start by logging in, and so that's the SSH command. I was using test user. And then I'm going to suggest that you want to use -X or -Y here. Either of them will work. But that will be necessary for the GUI editors to pop up a window for your editor. So we're going to do that. And then, okay. So the first thing you do after you log in is to change directory. That's the CD command, which you saw earlier, to your directory where you keep your stuff for this class. And there's our files. And let's imagine that we want to edit one of these things. So, for example, we want to take a look at the quada.asm file, the example. gedit is the name of one of the GUI editors. That's actually pretty easy. And then the name of the file. If you don't put the name of the file there, you can use the normal file open menu. And then I'm going to suggest you put an ampersand at the end. If you're working with the GUI programs, you usually want to put an ampersand at the end, and I'll show you what that does in a moment. And then it's going to pop up this editor. And this is what you imagine. So here's the example program, and if we wanted to add some lines to it or change some lines, okay, let's call that a comment. All right, comma, what was that? That's a variable that's near the top. And okay, so that's a typical sort of assembler instruction. And then you can put your cursor around and then just edit, right? You can copy and paste like that. So here's copy, and let's paste here. All right, and then Control Z is undo, like you're accustomed to. And then you can do a save. We're going to save to another file. Do a save as. Okay, save as quad A. Let's just call this foo.asm. Okay. So that's your gedit editor. And when you're done, you can do the usual types of, you could open a file to grab those other files if you want. Then you can do a close or quit. And you should get this will say it's ending and you're done. So when you use gedit, you're going to get all these, you're going to get all these warning messages. Don't worry about those warning messages. They're pretty meaningless. Now I'm going to tell you briefly about the ampersand. Let's just edit foo here again. We'll just do gedit foo. And I'm not going to put the ampersand there. And now I have my editor window. There's my program. And I go back here and I put some edits in and I want to compile and run it. And I notice I don't have my command line back. I can't type anything here. So if I exit the editor, I get my command line tap, and now I can, recompile and run it. But if I type with the ampersand, here's my editor again, and I can edit and save. But while the editor is still there, I can now do stuff like that. And you can get out of this with Control-C. So that's what the ampersand is for. It gets you your command line back while the editor program is still running. And now again, we'll just exit this. Okay. Now, if you don't want the command line, the GUI editor, there's a couple of nice editors that you could use just within the terminal window. And the easiest one is called Nano. So there's your program. Okay, I'll move this over a little bit just to be. Okay, there's your program. And you can, move the cursor around, and your up and down arrow things work. Here's our code over here. Okay, and then we can, another instruction, all right, whatever we want. 0 at the AX register. And now on the bottom, it's showing you that you have these options, like that means control. So Control-O is going to write the file back out. So we could write it to, so that's your save, or save as. So if we just leave it as foo.asm, it's save, or we could change that to something else, right? But we can just write it out like that, and then Control-X is going to exit, and then some of these other control things do what they say. You can do cutting and pasting type stuff, but you could also do cutting and pasting type stuff in your terminal window if you want. So here was here, and I'll edit, copy, and now put my cursor somewhere. So copy pasting works from the terminal window, and then when we're done, we can do Control-X to get out. And we won't save it. We could save it. Okay, so that's Nano. Other popular command line editors are VI and Emacs, like that. So, and I'll put them in the notes. Okay, thank you.